Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Music of the Week. I almost botched that intro just then, so don't really have a lot to go through. I have 5 albums to cover, so I'm going to go through them as best as I can, which is all I can hope to do. We start in Richmond, Virginia for Daisy and his third album, Out of Body. Daisy is a solo project by a guy named James Goodson who works out of Richmond, Virginia. And this is his third album in about, 2 years? He put out 2 albums last year, but this is my first one by him. Very, very short songs for the most part, but still very solid indie punk with a nice sort of emo, self-deprecating tinge. Giving this one a B. I liked a lot of the just vibes from this one. I liked a lot of the fuzz surrounding it. It did have like that post-hardcore sort of like etherealness, I guess, for lack of a better term, but it was very much an indie punk album. Had a really good like focus and sound, really good production too. I don't think he did the production on his own, but he definitely did the singing on his own, the instrumentation on his own, the lyricism as well. The lyrical themes were a bit hard to pin down, but mostly just sort of anxiety stuff. His central performance is really good though, especially when it comes to his vocals. I do wish he got to scream more, but I like his clean singing, I like his sort of droney delivery, I think it really helps a lot. I guess the main issue I have with the album is the structure. A lot of the songs are incredibly short. I don't think any of them reach past 3 minutes or even 2.5 minutes for the most part, so you're not going to get a lot out of it, but it's still very fun at the end of the day. So for something so short, it definitely sticks with you, so I recommend giving it a try for that alone. And also I do like an author who does stuff like this and does it well, and James seems to be doing it quite well, so I will be keeping an ear out for whenever he drops his next album. This was really good stuff. Next we go to Seattle, Washington for Demon Hunter, and what is technically their 10th album, Exile. I don't count Songs of Death and Resurrection because that was just acoustic redos of previous songs, and also War and Peace was a double album, which I am entirely counting as just one singular thing because I am a picky bitch that way. Demon Hunter have been kind of boring for a decade. I guess there were some bright spots on Outlive and Extremist, but like, I don't know. This album gets a C minus. This is my least favorite album of this past week. I just like. So here's the thing. I would have not as minded as much. I would not have minded as much, excuse me, if the band were just doing their usual shtick. But they actually tried to be a bit more intelligent with this. They actually tried something new in the term of a concept album. And judging through, reading through the lyrics, it just didn't work. It focuses on like someone reflecting on their life in a post-apocalyptic world, and I was like, one, for me, it wasn't a really well-told story. The instrumentation was kind of boring, except for some solo work. Ryan Clark is severely phoning in his vocals. Everyone just sounds like they couldn't give less of a toss when it comes to the performances. The production is okay, I guess. The structure is so boring. The album's over an hour and I think 10 minutes. It doesn't need to be this long, and it just feels like such a goddamn slog to sit through. It is not the worst thing I've heard all year because, I can rely on it to be boring and safe because it's Demon Hunter post 2012. I mean, True Defiance was the last good album they did, but skim around this one. It's really not worth the time. Literally not worth the time. It is way too much to sit through, and very little happens. It's unnecessarily padded, very, very sloppily told story, boring album with some decent solos. So there you go, skim it, not worth it. Next we go to Austin, Texas for Fire from the Gods and their third album, Soul Revolution. So this is a band that took me a while to get into, but back in 2019 I named American Sun. That's what it was called. One of my favorite albums of 2019. I reckon this will be one of my favourites of 2022. Incredible stuff, giving this an A+, which is weird because this album was released on Better Noise, which is one of my least favourite labels because of the boring-ass production they do. But there's actually decent production on this one, literally Fire from the Gods, Nothing More, and Bad Wolves are the only good bands on that label, trust me. But having said that, this is just really good work from the band. AJ Chandler is still an incredible vocalist, he's improved so much, and he's very versatile as well. I love how he's able to scream at times, how he's able to sing so cleanly, and his range has increased in that regard too. His rapping is still very much on point, he's on beat, he's got really good flow and delivery. The rest of the band is absolutely fantastic as well. I love the guitar work. I do wish there were some solos because this is a very hard rock leaning metalcore group, but what they do really works for them. The structuring is really well done too. I love the lyrics. I love how there's very much a personal vibe to them, especially given how affecting the pandemic has been so far. I like that the band didn't really cave into it too much, and they focused on the usual themes of like self-preservation, health, and trying to find hope, and stuff of that nature. But again, it's not done with empty platitudes, and I can really believe it when AJ Jenner tells me that, yeah, shit is a bit messed up right now, but we got this, and I'm like, yeah, we do, AJ. Go listen to Fire from the Gods, basically, is what I'm trying to tell you. They're a really good band, and this is a really good album. And I cannot wait for more, because goddamn, they're really hitting their stride, so you love to see it. I know I do. Also, the production's really solid as well, and very clean sounding, but not overbearing, so yeah, I can appreciate that. Next we go from Austin, Texas to Tyler, Texas for Fit for a King and their 7th album, The Hell We Create. Now, this is my 3rd album by them, and I'm going to give this album what I think I gave their last 2, which is a B grade. I think this is really solid, Christian-leaning metalcore. But one thing I've always liked about the band is the fact that they don't lean too much into the Christian side of things. They sing about very grim, dark tones, which is very much unheard of. I guess it's more of a commonplace thing these days, and it's definitely a much better handled thing than what Demon Hunter tried to do, I'll tell you that much, because it feels a bit more grounded in Fit for a King's case. But yeah, I really like their approach to the songwriting and the themes of anxiety and other mental health, and even faithlessness in some areas, which is a very interesting take for a band, again, with the Christian label slapped on. The performances are still great. I like the instrumental work as well, very heavy, very good riffs too. Some really good solo work. I won't lie though, my favourite song on this album is titled Times Like This, which features Jonathan Vigil of The Ghost Inside, who is, one of my favourite people from one of my favourite bands, so I am a bit biased towards it. It's also got a really good guitar solo. The performances are really good. I knew I was going to get back there eventually. Ryan Kirby is still a really, really good vocalist. This is also the debut of the band's new drummer, Trey Kalea, and he does a fantastic job on his end as well. Production's really good, handled by Drew Falk, who has always been a really good producer, works with some top-tier modern-day metal bands. Love his work. Structuring is, nothing new for the band either. Like, that's my main theory of this album, is my main sort of like thing with it, and excuse my hair, it's it's not what the band hasn't done before, it's not anything that the band really hasn't done before, but it's good, no real need to change it that much, so give it a listen. It's really, really fun. Well, fun. It's really good at the end of the day. And finally, we go to Lancaster, England for Massive Wagons and their 6th album, Triggered. Now, I covered their last album, House of Noise, and I remember quite liking that one. I like this band's unique take of like a hard rock band, but with a very, very punky attitude and edge, and that's no different here. I'm giving this one a B+. I loved a lot of the, mostly just the tone of the lyrics. I like that the band were very self-deprecating, and a little bit insulting at times, but, like, again, it just worked because they were a band obviously pissed off about the pandemic because House of Noise came out in 2020, and they were probably like, okay, we'll be able to sort this album off and get stuff done. And then they didn't really get to do that, and it became very unfortunate. So this album basically like a concept album of hatred for the pandemic, and I'm all for it. I love the performance work as well. Everyone's really on point. I don't know who does what, but whoever does lead singing is really good. Whoever does the guitar is really good. Everyone's really good. The instrumental work is just a lot of fun as well. It is kept very simple for the most part, yes, but it does have a very fun energy to it at the same time. Same with the structuring as well. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's quite a long album for a punk one as well, but it does find really, really fun ways to fill out the time. And again, the production's just really good. I believe it was released on Earache as well, which is a vastly underrated label. And I know that the only reason I really know is because Tala signed to Earache, and I really like Tala. So, yeah, I can't wait for their album at the end of the month. Good God. Anyway, Massive Wagons, we're Triggered. Really, really good album. Just find and listen to it. It's just fun, and it'll put a smile on your face. It's one of those albums that'll make you smile for a really dumb reason, but in the best possible way. And, yeah, Massive Wagons are slowly becoming one of my favourite bands from the UK. And that will about do it. I will do the thing I forgot to do last week, which is go from least favourite to most favourite. So, it would have to go Demon Hunter, Fit for a King, Daisy, Massive Wagons, and Fire from the Gods. So, yeah, that's really, really good shit. But go find them all and listen to them all at least once, except for Demon Hunter's album. Just do not listen to it. Listen to it if you've got an hour and 10 minutes or so to spare, and if you're very, very averse to sleep. Because this album it will really feel like sleeping aid at the end of the day. I could have come up with a better way to say that, but that's neither here nor there. I will see you next Tuesday for more PBW vs ABW, as I can't currently stream. There's only the end of the Let's Play because for some reason it just won't let me do it. So, yeah, that'll be over that, and I will see you all soon. Very, very soon for Fight the Night review. Yeah, that's the next thing I'm probably going to be doing. But yeah, go find these albums, give them a listen, and I'll see you most likely on Sunday, and then Tuesday after that, and then next Friday, going to be Catch of the Crown. It's going to be good shit. So, as always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.